gentlemen, the show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In a world full of idiots, two men stand out among the rest. Those men are part of a special division known as the Special Dummies Unit. These are their stories. Here we go again, another episode of SDU, and anybody that tuned in right off the bat, I will apologize. Had a little bit of a lag going on. I don't know. My internet is acting stupid today. I don't get it. Maybe it's just because of this guy over here, Fred James.
What's up, everybody?
Nobody cares. Anyway, your big head blocked all my internet signal, man. You got your phone off? Yeah. I'm just messing. Anyway, today's going to be a different day. Garion will not be on here tonight.
What's up, Logan?
Can I finish talking, you butthole? Anyway, Garion won't be on here tonight. He got some personal stuff going on. But we did decide to bring somebody on here that's going to have a little fun with us. We might do it. Remember a little while back, we had an episode where we brought on Sleazy E. Did a little bit of interview type thing. Well, we're going to do it again, but not with Sleazy E, because last time we almost got banned for nudity because he kept taking his shirt off, and it was horrible. He got man boobs. So today, though, we got somebody that's going to howl at us. Here comes Werewolf Bruce McGowan. What's up, Bruce?
What's going on, family? How you guys doing?
What's up?
Oh,
hey,
man.
Your beer is better than Draven.
I beg to differ.
Do you not see how long this is? Well, it is
Right,
great.
right.
Yeah, it's turning green.
Green?
It's because of the lighting in here. That's why
It doesn't look green to me. Hey, look, our DJ said it's so it's so.
I love your collection.
Oh, thank you. That's
In the
just the ones that I have in the package. I got top row up there. Let's see who I got up there. Dusty Rhodes, Ultimate Warrior, Mae Young, Jerry the King Lawler, Jake the Snake Roberts. Yeah, my Lawler is signed, so I'm pretty excited about that. I wish I could have gotten a couple more of them signed before, but them's the breaks.
I've been trying to find a Jake the Snake, and I ain't found one yet.
I want to take it out.
Jake the Snake Funko Pop.
I want to take it out so bad because I want the snake in it, but
yeah, that's like me with my Junkyard Dog figure. I want to take it out, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna leave it in there.
Yeah. Now those are the ones. Those are some of the ones that I have in the package. I've got.
Oh wow! Good Lord!
Fred, you thought you had a lot of.
Holy.
Well, like when me and my wife got married almost 22 years ago. When we got married almost 22 years ago, like one of the things that I made sure of was I always had like an action figure fund. So if I saw one that I really wanted, or if she saw one, she would get it. So.
Oh, Bruce.
So Jay says you compare collection.
Oh.
Speaking of Double J, hey, look, the reason I have that signed Lawler right there is because of him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a chance to get a Lawler at RWE, but they wanted $40 for it. I was like, no,
yeah.
we got the Darby. We got the Darby Allin instead. I know. I shouldn't have spent that money on the Darby Allin.
Well, he's still rocking. He's still rocking and rolling though, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, y'all keep collecting the wrestlers. I'll just stick with my horror stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a
Yeah,
few. I'm particular. The ones
Hey, I got
like,
I got a
want.
couple of horror ones up there. I got the you can't really see it, but on the top shelf where that Batman was, I've got all of the Scooby Doo monsters. I got the werewolf, and
Oh wow.
I got the
Oh,
Frankenstein, and I got the I guess like the creature from the Black Lagoon kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
yeah, that is neat.
Well,
Did
see,
you ever get a? Okay.
no, you're fine. No,
Did you
like
ever get a creature from the lagoon?
I just love y'all both are like, no, you go ahead, and then y'all both start talking again. I can disconnect Fred's mic if I need to.
No, I hit up yard sales and flea markets, and probably about 5-6 years ago, like I ran into this or yard sale, and this dude was like a really big, like he was a super nerd, and I got like all of the like when they came out with the Mortal Kombat He-Man style figures, I got all of those, including the Scorpion that's got the flaming skull, and then the one that's got the regular mask, but. It's pretty cool.
Hell, that's
and
cool.
I mean, I got the whole thing for like $15-20. So he said
awesome.
He said the wife made him sell some stuff so he can collect some more things. And I'm like, man, I completely understand that.
Yeah. There is a flea market that I really want to go to. It's like before you hit the bridge, when we make that turn. I think they got some.
Hey, Colin.
Too. Oh, what's up, Colin?
It's my youngest son.
I don't know. It's just weird to see an actual name pop up on YouTube. I gotta show this one, Brother Bruce. Oh Lord. Well, let's go ahead and get into stuff like that. Tell everybody watching and stuff like that. What actually made you get into wrestling to begin with?
Man, 14 years ago. So a buddy of mine I graduated with, I called him up one year. It was around September, and the year before we had done like this haunted like forest kind of trail walk thing, and I was the scary clown in the little haunted hallway kind of thing. And I had an absolute blast, being a part of the whole scare crew and whatnot. So I called him up. I had moved out of state, and when I moved back, I called him up like, "Hey man, are we gonna do the haunted walk again?" And he was like, "No, we're wrestling." And I'm like to begin with, I was a huge wrestling fan growing up. 80s WWF, a little bit of Memphis. I mean, a little bit more than, I say a little bit, but it was like a healthy sprinkling of Memphis in there too. So I was like, and my exact words to him, I'm like, so like that fake WWE-ish on TV? And he was like, yeah, kind of, but it's not fake. And I just kind of, in my head, I just kind of rolled my eyes like, all right, man, I'm down. And I had just got out of the Marine Corps not too long after that. And so when he told me that, I was so excited. And really the reason I was excited is because a local guy from around here, Cody Only, he was a really good friend of mine in school. And he was wrestling, and when I came back, I caught a show that they were on, and I had talked to him about, training me, and he was going to train me at ASWF, but they, I just couldn't get any ring time to save our life. So, that kind of went to the side. So I just put that in a box and put it away. And then whenever my buddy told me that he would train me to wrestle, I was like, now's the time. And I picked up quick, having a military background, it all just kind of came natural. So the physicality of it just kind of came natural. So it just, one thing led to another. Fast forward 14 years and here I am.
All right. And this is something I like to ask people. You're going to love this. Tell us about your first match.
Oh,
Oh, oh God.
is it against?
All right, so
is it against a zombie?
no. It was against a falcon, actually. So I was working at a Walmart at the time, and I got off work, and the guy that trained me, my first match was going to be with him. So I get off work and I call him up and I say, hey man, this was like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and he was like, hey man, come by my work when you get off work and we'll talk about the match. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I get there and he has like a novel. I'm talking like this thing was like Stephen King's The Stand. Like that's how thick it was. And it read like stereo instructions, like the handbook for the recently deceased. I couldn't decipher where the beginning and where the end was. Like it was it, and I was so green that it was paced out. And obviously it was my first match, so it was like, your music plays, because I was the bad guy. He's like, your music plays, you walk out, pick 3 fans, tell them to shut up, get in the ring. My music hits, I come out, I clap everybody's hands, I get in the ring. Ref checks you, ref checks me, and I'm talking like that's how spotted out it was. It was like, bell rings, lock up, hammerlock, headlock takeover, pick you up, shoot off, shoulder tackle, drop down, all of that stuff. And dude, the match is actually on YouTube. Please don't anybody watch it. I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not even going to tell you what my first gimmick was, and I'm not going to tell you.
If you want the link, inbox me.
Don't look. That right there. Look, if you watch that match, that is like a master class in what not to do. Especially for your first match. I was so, oh gosh. But look, to be completely honest, and it was a garbage match, and we always have those matches that chase us. But I was so happy that I was getting to live a childhood dream that I, without even thinking of how it would make me look 14 years later, I posted it on YouTube, and I was so proud of it, and I wanted everybody to watch it. And luckily, the people that watched it, that cared about wrestling, and in essence cared about me, told me how much it was garbage. So,
well, and that's the thing, though. You can always, that's something you can always look back on and see how much you've grown.
Oh yeah, well, and that right there, sorry.
No, I was gonna say that's why I think I was lucky. I was trained by Josh Cross, and my first match was with him, and pretty much he was like, let's go out there and do what you know how to do. Okay, that's what we did. Which it wasn't horrible. I could definitely tell I rushed through a lot of the stuff.
Oh yeah,
a lot of guys do.
When for sure. Like you think,
or if you're
I'm going to be good.
You still do that.
Well, I mean, the music plays, the adrenaline's pumping, and you think, oh man, I can deal with all this adrenaline, I can do it all. But the second that first hit of adrenaline comes, your mind goes blank.
Oh yeah,
and I lost everything. Not that I could remember that entire novel of really a Library of Congress of a match. The entire library.
Well, so that's where I got lucky. We did the whole Tennessee spot at the opening, and then Josh took over, and then Full Throttle come out there and whooped him. That was the whole match. So
Bruce, what about Big Haas? Seen
Colin asked that. And what about
what about Big Haas? Oh my gosh.
What is he referring to?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, he's gonna need. I can't say that on here.
Fast forward. Okay, fast forward from my very first match. Up to about probably I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. This guy, Big Hoss, he came from Texas, and he was booked at a promotion in around the Newport area, Grubbs area, and the guy told me, "Oh yeah, I'm a 15, 20-year vet. I've been doing it this long. I worked at DCW with Rodney Mack and all these guys." And yeah, I see you, Logan.
He is very vocal in the comments.
Yeah. Well, they all are. That's like weird that I'm
40
actually.
years.
They're
You're
really
a
huge.
draw.
They're really big marks, is what they are.
Anyway,
Okay,
go ahead,
so I went into this match thinking, oh, this guy's legit. I never really go into a match thinking super highly of myself anyway, just because I don't want to come across as a jerk. So this guy was calling spots, I was calling spots, and I'm like, all right, we settled on a solid. Austin's my boy too. Yeah, I see that, Jamie. So anyways, so I went into the match under the auspices that this guy I was gonna have a good match. You know what I'm saying? And I should have hearkened back to what my first trainer and even my second trainer taught me. Sometimes people talk out their butts. Sometimes they build themselves up. Sometimes they build themselves up to be some great thing, especially if they go to a new town where nobody knows them. So the bell rings, we lock up, and within the first 5 minutes of the match, like I was the bad guy, he was the good guy. Within the first 5 minutes of the match, I realized that it was going to be just a long heat because this guy, man, I feel bad now because if he's watching, like, I'm sorry, dude, but you weren't even half as good as you said you were. And so after that night, like, I gave him one of the best matches he's had in a long time. And but again, not trying to toot my own horn, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of me being a heel, a lot of heat, because the guy could not carry a match. His bucket was full of holes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow.
Oh.
Well, I know. You ran with Dirty Little Gang for a while.
Yeah.
But
That was my second
the,
trainer. He took me and polished me up.
The thing I want to hear about though is the creation of Sideshow.
Oh.
The creation of Sideshow.
Where did
Man.
that come from? I've heard the story, but I know a lot of people that have.
Well, again, I've always been a really huge fan of clowns, and not because they make me laugh, not because I think they're funny. Rest his soul, Sid Haig. I've always loved clowns, and I loved clowns because of the psychological effect that they have on people in general. They're
right here.
Yeah, their exterior is something that's happy and that's energetic and that's it's fun, but it's that mask effect. Like, he's hiding his face. Why is he hiding his face? Is there something darker underneath that paint? And like I said before I started wrestling, I played a clown in a clown hallway in this Oaks of Horror thing that we did in Sedgwick, Arkansas. And so that was always kind of in the back of my head. But my very first gimmick, I was actually I played a Scottish wrestler, Afton McKern. I'm a big Roddy Piper mark. I'll admit that. I've always been a Piper mark. Man, the guy could. He could do no wrong in my book. He had it. He wasn't the greatest in-ring guy, but he didn't have to be because he could talk you into the building. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And he'd make you so mad that you wanted to stay just to see him get beat up.
Right.
He has the
So-
David figure.
So I was doing that gimmick for a while, and then like when we all start wrestling, we have all of these ideas and we just don't know where to place them. And instead of putting them in a notebook, we were short a wrestler or two. I had the clown costume in my bag one night, and the promoter was like, "Look, we need a guy to go out and have this match." So I was like, "I'll do it." And I dressed up as a clown, went out. I was scary. I smiled at you, and then I'd scare you. Basically, I was a clone of Doink the Clown. And
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I
Well,
know that
yeah.
was coming. Sarah asked, your thoughts on Doink. I know that's coming in this next little section.
It really is. Okay, so I want to be completely honest. I had no idea what to call myself. One of the wrestlers at the time at OCW said, "Hey man, why don't you call yourself Zoink?" And I was like, "Oh, Zoink. That's kind of a silly, that's kind of a silly thing. Shaggy from Scooby Doo used to say Zoinks." So I was like, "Hey, Zoink. That's good." Well, I rolled with that for a while, and every Saturday night I was doing 2-3 matches a night, just as
Jesus.
well, yeah, 2 different characters, and sometimes it was back to back. So when I got done with my match as the Scottish character, I'd have to come back to the back, and I would have 3 or 4 guys help me get out of the Scottish outfit and step into the clown outfit. And I used
Make
to.
sure they space them things apart.
Yeah. Well, after a while, and then like once I started doing that, like my first year and a half in the business, I almost exclusively did hardcore matches. I think that's why I'm so pretty now. But my whole thing is, as the clown, man, I just felt indestructible. You could throw a brick wall at me and I would still keep coming. And I used that as kind of a therapeutic way to deal with, different things from the military. And it really helped out a lot. So at one point I was like, you know what? I'm getting sick and tired of doing 2 to 3 matches a night. Something's got to give. And so me and my wife and a couple of friends were talking, and I said, which gimmick gets more, pops versus which gimmick gets more heat, and which one is more popular in the fans' eyes. And it was a resounding Zoink the Clown. All right, Sarah, this is the good part.
Brian, we will get to your comment in a little bit.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So
No,
okay,
you're good. It's
Okay.
completely off the wall.
so just for future reference, I'm going to say this now, but I'm going to bring this up in the future. World famous flea market, they got their YouTube channel killed. So a lot of their content they're having to re-upload. So that's why I can't find this video. Okay, so hey buddy, thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. So Sarah, I'm just at home one night and I'm, scrolling through YouTube trying to find different things I can do as a clown that can really get over in wrestling. And just out of the blue, I typed into Google Doink the Clown, Matt Bourne, cell phone number. And I crap you not. The the first cell phone number that popped up, it was a Florida number. I knew he lived in Florida, so I just called the number, and it rang and rang and rang. I was nervous. I didn't know exactly what I was going to say. It went to voicemail. It didn't go straight to voicemail, but it rang and rang and rang and went to voicemail. So I left this long, weird greenhorn message. Hey, Mr. Bourne, I watched you, in WWF growing up. I idolized you. You really were an influential person in my childhood. And I wrestle, and I'd just like to get your opinion. Would it be a problem if I send you some matches? Then I hung up, and I was really nervous. Never done that before. And so about a week later, I'm driving home from work, and I get this phone call from Florida, and I'm like, well, I don't know anybody in Florida. And then, like, within a split second, like, I instantaneously remembered the number that I had called a week earlier, and I answered it, and I said, hello, this is Bruce. And without even skipping a beat.
Hold on just a second. We had some major issues. Hold on. I gotta sort some stuff out.
Okay, so where was I at? Do you guys know?
You was talking about
you said something about having the phone number, finding the phone number on Google.
Oh, okay. So
my internet just went.
Holy crap. Well, I saw y'all guys like sitting still, and I'm thinking, oh, God, I'm really entertained right now. Okay, so found the guy's number, didn't know it was his. I just dialed it. Very first number.
Yeah.
Left this long, drawn out, really, really like fanboy message about being his biggest fan growing up. As a kid, watching Doink the Clown wrestle on WWF was just the cat's meow. The best thing since sliced bread. And I really drove home, and I really fanboyed it up. I'm not even gonna lie. I fangirled it up. Like, I was like giddy and like heart palpitations, and I'm sweating. And so I finished the message, and I just hang up. And then about a week later, I'm driving home from work, and I get this phone call, and I look at my phone, and look, don't look at your phone and drive. This was well over 15 years ago. So no. This was probably well over 10 years ago, at least 11. So I see it's from Florida, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he actually called me back. So I answer the phone, and I don't even let him get one word out. And I'm just like, Mr. Bourne, thank you for calling me back, blah, 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 blah. Just really just filling his ears. And he says, so you're not my kid? And he's got that gravelly voice. So he's like, so you're not my kid? And I'm like, no, sir, Mr. Bourne. I'm just a really big fan. And he's like, how did you get my number? And I said, honestly, I Googled Matt Bourne, Doink the Clown's cell phone number, and I called the first number that popped up. And he said, oh crap, I should have got that fixed. Yeah. And he's like, well, I sure as crap thought that you were one of my kids, because like in the late 80s, early 90s, we did some traveling through no joke, right?
With that kind of attitude, he probably hung up on you.
Oh yeah, for real. But in the conversation, he's like, so, in your message, you said you wrestle. He's like, what kind of gimmick do you do? And I told him, I said, well, Mr. Bourne, he said, first off, call me Doink. And I was like, are you serious? I can call you Doink? He said, no, I'm not serious. Call me Matt. So I said, okay, Matt. And I called him Mr. Matt a few times, which was really weird. But like I said, dude, I was fanboying out. So we got to talking, and I explained to him that I do a clown gimmick, and I just wanted to talk to him about it and send him some matches. And he said, well, first off, you do a clown gimmick. He said, what's your name? And I said, well, it's Zoink the Clown. And he said, he said, and I'm gonna do like a trigger warning here for the adult language. He said, "You gotta be shitting me." He said, "Way to beat the copyright laws by changing one letter of the name, dumbass." so, so yeah, and I'm like, "Oh wow, thanks for being a dick." And he said, "You're gonna be all right, kid." He said, "Honestly," he said, "Look," and then his voice changed, and I guess he really started talking normal to me. "I'm sorry, brother. Brother.
Oh, you're fired.
Oh, yeah. Cut the feed. Cut his mic.
But if my internet keeps going, I ain't got to.
Okay,
It's
so
working better now, though.
that's
after it
awesome.
killed
So
me.
he really changed his tone, and like I think I really got a chance to talk to the actual man behind the gimmick. And he told me, he said, first off, if you're gonna do a clown gimmick, he said, make it your own. He said, don't do any of that prepackaged WWE bullshit. He said, if you're gonna do a clown gimmick, make it your own. He's like, make your clown the most different clown that anybody's ever seen. He's like, if you wear a mask, 1 week wear face paint. If you wear face paint 1 week, the next week, don't wear anything on your face but a foam nose. He said, the week after, maybe change up into a clown jumpsuit. He said, the week after that, he said, always be evolving, always evolve your character, because if you keep doing the same old, it's going to get stale and people are going to get tired of seeing it. He said, if you want to get big and you really want to make it as a clown, he said, you have to. He's like, every show in America has at least one Doink the Clown. He's like, they're not me.
That's not kidding.
He said, they're not me, but there's always one WWE legend, Doink the Clown. And I said, you're absolutely right. And so over the next couple of weeks, which was really weird because, like, this was before I got with Dirty Little Dave, and I used to watch Dirty Little Dave on TV as well. So when I got with him, it was just like my mind was just blowing. So I'm over the next couple of weeks, like I'm having weekly, almost daily conversations with Matt Bourne, and it's almost like, well, it's time to call in. So then I would dial the number and I would call him up, or he would call me up. And so I sent him a match. And now we're getting to the part about the world famous flea market. So I sent him a match, and it was a match that I had at OCW, and I had changed the name. I was now Sideshow the Clown. And I was the indestructible clown. You could throw a Mack truck at me and I would still keep coming. I was the best and only damn clown in the state of Arkansas. And if anybody else did a clown gimmick, I'll find you. And that was something that I would put out there to people. Like, if you've got a wrestling show and you have a clown, you might want to check under the seats in the locker room, because I'll be under there. I'll be under there waiting with a knife to shiv him. That was my claim to fame. And in my head, I'm thinking, man, Matt Bourne told me that I'm talking to Matt Bourne, so if anybody has a right to do a clown gimmick, it's this guy. You know what I'm saying? So who else in their infinite wisdom thought about Googling Matt Bourne's phone number and asking the man himself if it was okay to do a clown gimmick. So about a week or two goes by, and he said, "Okay, send me a match, kid. Let me see what you got." And me, I'm thinking, well, the best match I could send him is this match, and I didn't even think nothing of it. I just sent it to him because I'm like, oh my gosh, Matt Bourne wants to see one of my matches. So I sent it to him, and a couple of days goes by, and he calls me. And he says, well, I'm not going to say what he says. He spent about 30 minutes just completely tearing me apart. And like, to the point where if I like in my head, if I had to join the Marine Corps, I would have not been equipped for the conversation that he had with me about this match.
Wow.
That being said, he tore me apart, like to my core. Like I was wrecked. And he said, "All right, kid, now that the bad's out of the way, let's get to the positives." And then he went over the positives. He told me what I did right. He told me, talk to me about my look, talk to me about this, talk to me about that, talk to me about getting away from that company. And that right there, that stuck with me, but it made me realize that wrestling was a lot bigger than just one company. One company wasn't the beginning and end of professional wrestling by any means. So fast forward a little bit, and he sadly passes away, and I'm miserable. You know what I'm saying? Like I really learned to, I really, in the time that we had talked, I got an opportunity to know the man behind the mask, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And really
Right.
get like a sneak peek behind the curtain. Um, so anyway, okay, sorry. Fast forward about a year after his passing. And somebody had sent me this video, like, "Hey, bro, you made world famous flea market," and I'm like, "I have heard of world famous flea market. What what, pray tell, match was it, and where was it, and how dumb did I look?" So they're like, "Look, dude, you just got to go watch it." And I was like, okay, because I mean that day, actually it was a couple of days before he had died. Matt passed away, and Saturday rolls around, and I'm sitting in the locker room, and I'm dressed up as a clown, and I've got MB on my arm. I'm I'm in full professional nice. I'm in full professional wrestler kind of grieve mode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
10 bell salute happened. Everything was. I wish we could have done more, honestly. But so they like I said, a year rolls by, and it's the anniversary of his passing, and I'm sitting in the locker room, and I'm dressed up, and somebody tells me, "Hey, you're on world famous flea market," and I'm like, well, back then, like Trash Bag Wrestling, world famous flea market,
Yeah.
Butthurt Trash Bag Network, I did my best to try to get on every single one of those.
I was on a couple of those.
Well, look, I was on one Trash Bag Wrestling post, but I was in gear, and the reason I got posted is because the guys that I was wrestling didn't have gear. Like, dude, a dude wrestling in like blue jeans and a dirty wife beater, like he had just got off work. I think
May
one of the
have.
comments was like, "Dude, is that the Trash Man?" No, he was not well, yeah, he was a Trash Man. Anyway, but so I log on to YouTube real quick, and I go over to the world famous flea market, and I click on the link, and I'm watching it, and like this black screen pops up, and it says, in memory of Matt Bourne, when he was born, when he died, and then the video starts, and it is the video that I sent Matt for him to critique.
Oh wow.
and he's doing special guest commentary on that match.
Oh.
So the first
Okay.
my first thought was, I'll never be able to wrestle again. If he says half the stuff that he said on the phone to me on this thing, I will never wrestle again. And the match was all of about 10 minutes long. With their, world famous flea market, it actually went to about 15, like timing and everything, intros and exits. But man, Matt Bourne was a class act. He never once mentioned me at all. He mentioned the ring. He mentioned he badmouthed the ring that we were wrestling in. He badmouthed the guy I was tagging with. He badmouthed the building. He badmouthed the what fans that they could see on the video. He badmouthed the commentary. He badmouthed the video quality in general, but didn't say one word about me. And like I tell people, and I tell people, I'm like, well, he didn't say anything about me because he already got me on the phone, a year ago. I wish I would have recorded it, honestly. But I look back at even that, like a couple of people have wanted to see it, and I think I've got it on my, on a thumb drive somewhere. I'll find it and send it to those who want to see it. But yeah, man, it was. I'm sitting there and I'm watching this video, and like everything's going on in the locker room, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and I just start crying because the jackass didn't say one word about me. And world famous flea market, I wanted to get my ass chewed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, the match was so bad. The guys we were wrestling, they went to give me a double suplex, and the guy on my right dropped me, and I landed on my neck.
Yeah. Is that why you're shorter than what you should be?
Probably.
Stunt your growth a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, if you wouldn't have done that, you'd have been a full werewolf. But
yeah. Instead of being a pint-sized werewolf.
No, that's why you're a werewolf, because you could, you shortened it up, dropped.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Blah blah blah. Take my dumb joke.
So yeah, that's the story of Sideshow the Clown. And then I did Sideshow the Clown. I wrestled all over the place. I wrestled in Tennessee as Sideshow. I wrestled all over Arkansas. I never did any shows. Like really, I say all over, but it was like Arkansas and Tennessee and West Tennessee that I did the clown gimmick. So much so that when I changed the clown gimmick and I would call companies to try to get booked, I would give them my name and they wouldn't know who I was until I said, bro, it's me, Sideshow. And then they were like, oh shit, yeah, come on over anytime. You're booked.
That's what I primarily knew you as.
Yeah.
The majority when I first started was just Sideshow. Even when you were running with the gang, not.
Oh yeah, for
clown.
Sure. Well, that right there,
Sideshow, damn it.
that right there, another guy I watched on television, Dirty Little Dave. He was locally famous around here, and a lot of the guys that wrestled in the Attitude Era, they made their rounds and they cut their teeth on the indie circuit around here, making their way to Memphis. So, Dave got to wrestle those guys and be a stepping stone in their eventual rise to stardom. I was Sideshow the Clown, under a mask, face painted, not mask, half face paint, just random stuff. And then like I got with Dirty Little Dave and he started taking me and my tag partner just all over the places, introducing us to wrestling in wrestling in Osceola for MCW, the original the second iteration of MCW. Before it was Moondog Championship Wrestling, then it was Mid-South Championship Wrestling, and I think it's Mid-South Championship Wrestling now, under the owners of Carl and David Clapp. Which they're doing good things over there. I'm not against shamelessly plugging another company because I love wrestling and I love every wrestler around, and I'm just excited that we get to do what we do. But Dave was Dave was the one who told me to take the mask off. Um, he said, "Have you read Jimmy Valiant's book?" And I said, "No, I haven't." He said, "Well, you need to read Jimmy Valiant's book because the Dirty Little Gang is in Jimmy Valiant's book." And Jimmy Valiant specifically talks about Dirty Little Dave and his Dirty Little Gang. And Dave told me, he's like, "Man, you don't need that clown mask anymore. You're in the gang now." And so I'm like, I fought him for probably a year, and he'd be like, "Bruce, you taking the mask off tonight?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not taking the mask off tonight, Dave." And he was like, "Well, it'd be a whole lot cooler if you did." And so
I just hear McConaughey. Be a whole lot
be a whole lot cooler if you did. Yeah. And so eventually I did take the mask off, but I kept the name. I was for a long time I was Sideshow Bruce McGowan, and that's how I got booked. That's how not how I got booked, but that's kind of how I made my name around here, at least.
Yeah.
It's not a very big name, but it's a name. But I did what Dave told me to do, just show up and do what he knows I could do, and that was the job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I remember when I met Malico. He was cool, but also scary.
Yeah, Malico. He's really doing it big. Like I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah,
I think he's taking a break right now.
Yeah, well, I had heard that he was like gonna be in full retirement mode, but I did hear that he was just taking a break. So
yeah, that dude's got a hell of a lot of potential.
Oh, for sure.
That dude, his promos are just amazing.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. His promo skills are just, the production value of those are just beyond belief. Like his mind, man.
All right, so now I'm gonna go back to Brian's comment that I said I was gonna go back to.
Sorry.
Right here. What are your thoughts on Fred James getting into the business as an in-ring competitor?
I have always said that RDJ or FDJ is just RDJ. Sorry.
Ronnie,
FDJ. Dude, you're over, bro. I'm serious. You are over. One of the most charismatic, popular guys from around this area, and like, you're in a Hall of Fame. I'm not in a Hall of Fame.
Me neither.
How many matches have you had, Fred?
I think it was only
2.
Yeah, it was only 2 before.
See, you're a professional wrestler.
Hey, here's the thing, though. If we could get Fred to wrestle at Hoxie, we could get Brian to wrestle at Hoxie, because he would want to wrestle Fred.
Look, I have got my marching orders. That is my goal.
Oh.
That's my goal.
Yeah. Fred beat FGA. And now he's a member of FGA.
Right. Look, FTJ. All you got to do is say, when somebody asks, "Who'd you ever beat?" just tell them FGA.
I thought the first here recently when if FGA got booked at ASWF, I get a message from the one of the guys that help running things. I'm not gonna put that out there, but I get a message and like, how in the world do I get FGA on the show, but I don't get Fred? He goes, that is just like, that's part of the package deal.
Look, I love my FGA brothers, but I think FDJ has a better ring to it. Just gonna put that out there. Nothing against y'all guys. Look, I am a newly re-tag teamed individual with tag titles. I'm not knocking on FGA's door, but I am knocking on FGA's door.
As long as it's not the back. Never mind.
I guess Colin's got his wrestling name already.
Colin Andrews.
Colin
Andrews. I like it. Hey, that's good. interesting
Uh-oh.
fun fact. We got heat. What?
Oh!
What? How do
Oh!
how do we got heat?
He
Hey.
just called him out and said that Fred was better.
I did not say Fred was better. I said I felt highly. Look.
All I hear is Logan in the background.
Look, I am the Earl of Poppycock. You see that? Do you see my name underneath there?
FGA versus the Monsters. But
let's do it.
Will has a different name for us. The Spooky Pervert.
The Spooky Perverts.
Hey, I can get behind that.
Same here. Hey, Will, fanny pack versus fanny pack?
I don't have a fanny pack.
Hey, look, I've got over 20. I got you covered.
Okay. So and those watching that don't keep up with what we're doing in Hoxie and stuff like that, myself and Bruce are actually tagging now, which is crazy because a lot of the time when I was coming up and learning, I was doing tag. I tagged against Bruce. And like, Bruce, you've always been known as a tag guy, for the most part, because I've seen you in, you Beer 30 is still is one of the most well-known tag teams in Arkansas.
Look, it really is, and
it's my favorite tag team.
Thank you for that. Hey, you hear that? You hear that, Will and Cody? FGA?
So you're right there. Let the little box. Oh shit!
Hey, look.
Over there.
David, it's just because we're new as a tag team. Like once he sees us like for who we are, then he'll love us more. We're just some sexy monsters.
I have never been Fred's favorite wrestler.
Sexy monsters.
I say you were second. Does that count?
Fred, I have never been Fred's favorite wrestler, even though I'm the reason he gets to go to all these shows. Ain't nobody gonna drive their ass way out here in the country to pick him up. Oh Lord!
Will, I mean that in a good way, Will.
I would drive all night.
Okay.
Oh.
Sarah, what are you talking about? Is it WWE?
Yes. Oh, I'm telling you what, boys. Pack match. That's what I'm about.
Hey, hold on here. We're already tag champs, buddy. OCW tag champs. So.
Hey, we'll be whatever tag champs you want us to be.
Yeah. Oh wait, I'm too lazy to do anything. That's why Bruce is the heat guy. Anyway, we discovered that me being in the heat is fine until somebody punches me in the throat.
Okay.
Yeah. Look,
your son was asking a question. Sorry about that.
What do you ask?
What are you talking about?
Yes. Pull up Brandon Hatcher's dad was about to say interesting fun fact.
Oh, my bad.
What? Oh, you're good. Before y'all started talking about FGA, what was it? What were we talking about before the FGA RDF?
I don't know. We were talking about Fred getting into wrestling, that he was more over than most.
I'm not more over than Austin
yes,
O'Malley.
You are.
Austin O'Malley is up here.
Look, he's pretty high up there.
Guy.
The Scallies are my homeboys.
Oh, OCW.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, you about to get me in trouble.
So, all right. One of the things I asked Sleazy and I've asked other people is, what is your favorite, keep it sort of PG best you can, road story?
Well, look, I have a couple of interesting road stories, and that will be for another time.
Shut up, Jamie.
This isn't about you, Jamie. This is true. This is true.
That's not a lie.
That is not. Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
We could go to a show that we have never been to before. I walk out the curtain and look, and there's Fred surrounded by a sea of kids. Now, if you didn't know Fred, it would look weird. But if you know Fred, you're like, yep, that's normal.
Okay, Bruce, back to what you were saying.
Okay, so let's see. All right, probably about 3 to 4 years ago, me and Jack, Beer
Lord.
30, my brother-in-law, we took off on a Friday morning. I took off work, and we left my house at like 4 in the morning, driving to no, even better.
No, I'm
Okay.
not laughing. This is what I'm laughing at. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh man. So we're driving to Hutchinson, Kansas, which is a 9.5 hour drive from my house.
Ooh.
So Jack started out driving. He drove the first 4.5 or almost 5 hours, and I drove the last half. Well, I don't remember exactly where we were at, but it was my time to take over to start my 4 hours. And everybody that's watching this that knows about, road trips, wrestling road trips, you can't sleep because the guy that's driving has to stay awake so you don't die. Why are you looking at Fred for?
Oh no, wait. Fred don't fall asleep. He just does this the whole time.
Whoa. He's got Gary in to keep him awake if I fall asleep.
Gary falls asleep.
Oh wow.
So it's interesting that you said that because I get behind the wheel and I get the map pulled up on my phone and I'm driving, and it wasn't. And I mean, like when I say drove straight, like we drove straight through Jack's 4.5 hours, filled up for gas, and then I took over. And so he was driving for, 4.5, a little over 4.5 hours straight. And I took over. And hush, dogs. Leader of the pack. I'm the alpha, y'all.
Yeah, they're really letting you know that too.
Yeah. So I'm driving, and like it wasn't 20 minutes later, Jack's like, "Hey man, I'm not gonna go to sleep." He's my brother-in-law. He married my sister. She's in the back seat, and she has been asleep this whole time. Like when he pulled up in the driveway, she was asleep. So, it was a little over 4.5 hours of him driving and me talking to him to keep him awake. Just good, road talks.
Yeah.
And I told him about a time that I was driving back from a show in I was driving back from Union City, and I was driving through this wooded area, and I thought I saw Bigfoot.
We'll discuss that more later.
Yeah. But anyway, so about 20 minutes goes by, and Jack's like, "Hey man, I'm not gonna go to sleep. You kept me awake, and you barely slept, so I'm going to keep you awake." I'm like, "Hey, man, cool. I appreciate that." Dude, 20 minutes in, and they're both snoring. And I'm like,
Trust me, I get that.
I'm like, man, it's cool. They're tired. I get it. My sister is still asleep. So she's getting her a good 8 hours, like tops. She's getting her sleep. And so we're driving, and, let's fast forward about 4 hours into the drive. Jack's woke up a couple of different times, but he's like, "Man, I can't stay awake." He's like, "You got this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I'm good. I got my cigarettes. I got my energy drink. I'm solid." So he goes back to sleep, and they're doing road work or something in Kansas, and I turned wrong. And I went from 4-lane interstate almost straight through to I'm on a 2-lane back road. It was almost like a field road. I'm driving like fields on either side of me, farm equipment, farms, more fields, thicket of trees. And I'm like, "Oh crap, I'm lost." I'm like, "Well, the GPS says we're still making good time. We're going to get there on time. But where am I?" Because the road work had me on some weird offshoot. I was lost, bro. I was lost. I was so lost. And I'm driving, and the more I'm lost, I'm like, oh, well, I'll just get to the next town and then I'll hit back on the interstate. Well, next town came, no interstate exit, just steady driving. And I'm looking at Jack. I'm looking at my sister in the rearview mirror, thinking about throwing something at her to wake her up. They're not awake, so I'm like, crap. So I call, I wake Jackie up. I'm like, hey, bro. I wake Jack up, and I'm like, hey, dude, I think I'm lost. And he grabs my phone, and he's like, well, it looks like we're on track because we're gonna make it the time that we thought we were gonna make it, and it's showing that we're gonna get there at the destination. Just keep driving. So fast forward another freaking like 30 minutes later, and we still didn't make it to the spot on time. And I'm looking at the GPS. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. Jack wakes up. Why haven't we made it? I said, bro, I told you 30 minutes ago I was lost. And I'm never been to Kansas before in my life. Like I'm sitting there like, well, Toto, we ain't in Kansas no more, but we were. We were in the dead center of Kansas, and I don't know if you guys know where Hutchinson, Kansas is, but it's up there. So finally, I pull over on this gas station, and I turn my GPS off, and I turn it back on. I put in the address, and like probably 25 minutes later, we pull up to the building, and we get there still early, which is good because we left at like 3:30, 4 o'clock on Friday. We were expecting to get there that night sometime around 4:30ish, but we ended up getting there at like 5, so we were still pretty early. The show didn't start until 7, so we were there relatively early. It was a showcase show, so there was like 50 different promotions there. Wrestlers from all over the country had come to do this, and it was supposed to be a 3-day event for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but we were booked for Millington Mayhem in Memphis on Saturday. So we drove all the way up to Hutchinson, Kansas, did the tag team showcase, made a lot of really good contacts, got some positive feedback, and as soon as the show was over, we left. We were driving straight through to Memphis, and we were going to get a hotel room somewhere closer. We got out of Kansas, and we ended up getting a hotel room because it was just late at night. And we woke up Saturday morning at like 6 and left and drove all the way to Memphis. And we got to Memphis and did Millington Mayhem. We worked the final hour. One of their guys is Big Swole, Justin Cole.
Yeah.
From Memphis Wrestling.
Yeah.
And what?
You're cutting up a little bit.
Oh, my bad.
I don't know
better
if it's
now?
mine or yours. No. The video.
Oh, it could be mine. Internet. But yeah, we drove the whole way, and like really we had 3 matches at the showcase in the tag match because it was like a tag tournament. And then as soon as the show was over, we said our goodbyes, made contacts. Like I said, that's what a showcase is for. And
yeah.
So drove back to Memphis, got dressed, and the show started. So we drove all the way from right outside of Kansas to Memphis in like a little under 8 hours. We were booking it. So
that's a lot of driving. I'm too lazy. I don't even like driving to Hoxie. That's only like
well,
3 hours.
Man, like I said, I grew up, watching wrestling and really enjoying wrestling and those moments that those wrestlers create, and time with my family. Like me and my grandpa used to watch wrestling. Me and my dad used to watch wrestling. Well, I'd say we watched wrestling, but it was more him sitting in the chair screaming at the TV. But man, those were moments. Those were times that I'll never forget, and it involved wrestling. So I absolutely love traveling. I love being a traveling wrestler. I love being able to show up to a place that I've never been before, wrestle in front of a crowd I've never seen before, has never seen me.
That's me.
I just love the full experience, the entire experience of being on the road. The longest I've ever been on the road is probably 8 months.
Oh wow.
9 months just solid on the road. Every Saturday we were traveling. Of course, with Beer 30, there were times where we were wrestling and traveling and wrestling. Like on a weekend, we would wrestle 3 or 4 times a weekend. And
That's awesome, though.
Oh yeah, dude, our
awesome
work
to get that kind of experience.
our work rate was crazy until I blew out my knee, and then when I came back, shortly after I came back, that's when COVID hit. So it kind of just nipped that in the bud. Yeah.
That same thing, was right before COVID hits when I dropped the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we had this cool little storyline set up. Everything was ready to go, and then here comes COVID, and it's like,
oh, dude, everything. Look,
Okay.
Jack had went to wrestle up in Missouri, and he had got to wrestle on a pretty big show. Him and Bob Evans, well, all of us are kind of decent friends, and Jack met him and then introduced him to me, and so Jack made a lot of good contacts. He was going at the beginning of 2020. He was going to Canada to wrestle on like a tour in Canada, like 4 or 5 different shows. He was going to get to wrestle in Canada. He was going to get to do some stuff, in the East Coast, a little bit of stuff on the West Coast. And then as soon as COVID hit, within 24 hours, all of those bookings just died.
Yeah. All right. Well, and those of you commenting,
Sarah,
we'll try to get to you.
Sarah, I'm gonna say.
Sorry, I'm long-winded, guys.
No. That's the whole point of this.
I think it was this year or last year. I'm gonna say 2 come to mind on your comment. I'm gonna say the Cody Cole and Bobby Rush match, and then I'm gonna say the Draven and Bobby ladder match. If it was this year or last year, whatever you was talking about. What was my
favorite? I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, she was saying right. What was my favorite match?
Aaron asked, where did the idea from Beer 30 come from?
No,
look, when me and Jack first started tagging, we were trying to game a couple of names, and like we had a couple of different ideas, and there was a saying in the military, especially in the Marine Corps, it's Beer 30. And that pretty much meant, at 4:30 in the afternoon, you weren't at work anymore. You get off work, you go home, you drink with your buddies, you go back to the barracks, you drink with your buddies. You go out in town to a bar and you drink with your buddies. And we were trying to come up. Look, we tagged up one Saturday, and we had a week to come up with.
Hold on. What the hell is wrong with you?
Go ahead, Bruce. Go, Bruce.
What are we laughing at?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right, I'm good.
Hold on. I boo you.
What?
Anyway.
All right. So we had about a week to come up with a tag team, and because we had tagged up on a Saturday, and then the next Saturday was going to be our official debut as a tag team. And originally I had just got done doing Sideshow. Like I said, I had kind of put that character, the clown, to bed, and I told Jack. I remember, and Jack will agree to this. I told him, I said, bro, well, he's from Manila, so he's got a really thick country, like a country drawl. like a southern drawl. That's the word. So I thought that us tagging, he was gonna want us to do some kind of a like a redneck type gimmick. And I told him, I'm like, bro, I'm one of the furthest thing from redneck. I do not want to do a redneck tag team or a redneck gimmick.
Hey, don't you live in the part where is rednecks at?
I do, but I'm not a redneck.
Okay.
You live with white people that don't make you white. All right.
Where's my sound effects?
That what you want?
Hey, you always say you're more.
Oh no, wait. If it's for me.
So we had to come up with this gimmick name. Well, like we kind of wanted we like Jack had been watching. He's a huge film guy. Like he goes back and he watches, matches and studies, and he's really a student of the game of professional wrestling. So he's like, you know what? There's never been, or there isn't now, and there hasn't been in a long time. And I said, what's that? And he said, a Stone Cold Steve Austin, like a beer drinking, just ready to fight, tough nosed wrestler like Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he's like, there's never been a tag team where two guys are like that. And I'm like, I think you may be onto something. I said, yeah. And I'm like, okay, if we're going to drink beer, I said, hey, bro, there's the story we used to tell everybody was we were in a bar drinking. There was an old guy at the bar, and every time he would finish his beer, he would hit the bar and say, it's beer 30. And the bartender would give him another beer, and that's kind of how we came up with beer 30. But that was the gimmick. That was the gimmick story behind it. Y'all guys are getting the real deal. So, like I said, I was like, hey, there's a slogan in the military, beer 30. And he's like, well, I've heard it before, and that just means drink beer, right? And I'm like, yeah, drink beer with your buddies. So that Saturday night we came out as the newly formed Beer 30 at OCW. That was where we got our start as the tag team Beer 30. And the promoter at the time was a nice things. He wasn't necessarily the best at promoting. He did too many things and didn't like task stuff out to people. He wore a lot of hats. So
gotcha.
He told us after the third week of Beer 30 that if we couldn't get over as a tag team, he was splitting us up. And Jack looked at him, and then Jack looked at me and said, okay. And as soon as we walked off, Jack said, hey, bro, we got to get the heck out of this place. And which was weird because shortly after, like almost the next night after, Craig Stone called me and was like, hey, I heard y'all guys are doing big things at Hoxie, and I'd like to bring you guys in to run a program with Lethal Injection, the Skimmerhorns now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it happened. Well, like the whole like bearded rednecks, the redneck rock stars of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
The Mid-South's favorite alcoholics. That kind of happened. Like we came out, and I just instantaneously thought, we're in Lawrence County, Arkansas. This is where the rednecks are at. These are blue collar, hardworking people. They like to work a hard day's work, get off, drink a cold beer, and who doesn't want to tell their boss to go piss off? So from that point on, I told, what? I ain't about to tell no lies.
Oh, Jackie! Whoa!
Look, tell me.
Jackie.
Look, I don't know if you've been watching, but tell me one lie, Jack.
Oh.
I'll tell you one thing that's not a lie. Jack threw you on my face one time.
Hey.
Oh,
Bruce,
man.
What about the Rum DMC fungal pack. Logan said you have one.
It's right. He's talking about me, dummy. It's right there behind us.
Oh, okay. Lemma was the wrong
Right
person.
there. Golly. Oh Lord, up.
Oh,
Brian,
Brian,
like he sucks eggs.
Oh,
No. People I posted that thing where there was one day a couple years ago I just posted random stuff, and I tagged you in one. It was like one time
Yeah.
Bruce sat on my face and it wasn't fun. So they had this. I was laying on the mat and they had this thing where Jack would pick Bruce up and drop him into a leg drop. Well, I guess Jack couldn't really see, and Bruce is fat, so he just threw him right on my head.
Hey, look!
I'm glad you had pants on because I would have had pink eyes.
Look, I never once said that you didn't come out with Mid-South's favorite alcoholics. I called us the Mid-South favorite alcoholics. Like there ain't nobody in the Mid-South that's drank more beers and kicked more ass than Beer 30.
So let me ask you, whether y'all come up with y'all song?
That's right. It was an argument.
It was an argument for 7
Look,
years.
I for the longest time, and I've got a really crappy memory. Ask anybody. For the longest time, and I still to this day give Jack a hard time about it. I claim that I came up. I came up with the Mid-South favorite alcoholics, but Jack did prove me right. He did come up with it, and like I was just like, you know what? We're bearded beer drinkers. We're ass kickers, and I'm just gonna say it. And he's like, all right, man, if it doesn't work, then we won't use it again because, and I'm just like, all right, man. But it worked. And now,
And you had the infamous beer tree promo.
Dude, Jack came up with that whole thing. He was a mastermind. After that beer tree promo, like everybody was hitting us up like, oh my gosh, you guys are geniuses. And I would honestly have to tip my hat and be like, well, Jack's my brother. So, by osmosis, like I helped come up with it.
Y'all sold a lot of merch.
Look, yeah, we did.
Y'all sold a lot of merch. Oh my god!
Look, I still have a picture of me and Jack and Fred on my wall. Us, you and the Beer 30, you and the Beer. You know what osmosis is.
Brian's just out for blood.
Look, Jack. Look, Jack's not just a muscle. So whenever you want it to be.
Oh.
Look, nothing against you, David. Everybody knows. No, don't make that face. Everybody knows that the second that somebody says Beer 30 reunion, look, I'm your Huckleberry, time and place.
All right, somebody give me Daily Dale's number.
Oh.
Hey man, just let me get about 24. Let me get about 24 beers in me, and I'll be ready to rock.
Oh Lord! All right, Zach popped this up a while ago.
What's up, Zach?
What's your favorite five? Or what's your top 5 indie guys you want to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Oh man,
Blake Christian. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Look, okay.
Damn, dummy, not you.
No, look. Hey, interesting fun fact. Me and Jack actually tagged with. We wrestled against Blake Christian. It was a couple years ago. Right before he signed. So I mean, like, it's crazy how the indies work around here.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I'm such a huge fan of everybody that I wrestle with, because you never know, you're wrestling with guys and there's no point in being bitter about guys making it. Maybe they made the right move where you didn't, or maybe they were able to.
Right place, right time.
Exactly. Look, Jimmy Hart said it best. He said back in the day, you could walk into a studio and get a contract. now the days of sending in tapes and hoping somebody signs you is almost a thing of the past, because there's so many funnest beer 30 match. Oh man, there's look, I cannot in good conscience I cannot in good conscience put together a 5 guys that I want to wrestle match, because there's so many guys in the Mid-South area and even beyond that are just beyond talented.
Fred James.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the Warwolf could, I'd have to be heel in that match, but.
All right, so Jack's asked this one, funnest beer 30 match.
Oh God, which, dude, they were always so fun. Because I think it was a gimmick that we created. It was you and me. We created it, and it was just so popular that we could go out there and not even wrestle. We could go out there and just have so much fun. I've got a really big patch of hair on my back, right between my shoulder blades and about like at my neck. And me and Jack had this habit of like trying to get me to shave it all the time. Like, bro, you need to shave it. You need to shave it. And I'm like, no, bro, I'm not shaving that. That's mine. I'm leaving it. So we would do this thing where if I would start the match off, I would lean back to tell him something, or he would lean back to tell me something. And it was usually something like really sappy, like, I love you, bro. This is amazing. But then, like, as soon as the bell rings and I would step off to make my little half circle, like, I would instantaneously, like, go into, like, pain, like, full body pain mode, because Jack would have a handful of that freaking hair. He would, like, I would feel him back there, like, he was patting me on the back, like, good job, buddy. But then, like, as soon as I walked away, he did one of these and just it's a wonder I still have hair back there, because I swear to God, like, he would have a handful of it.
Oh, and he said it's infamous "What am I doing" match.
Oh, okay. Hey, is it adult time yet? Have the kids gone to bed?
What? I tell you, when you have a booger, doesn't.
This is true.
Whatever you gotta do, man. It's almost 9:30.
All right, it's not bad. Okay,
we ain't gotta get super foul, but
no, it's not. It's actually pretty funny. I'm not a guy that normally.
I know I've heard the story.
I'm not a guy that normally smokes marijuana medicinally. I qualify, but I don't want to get the card or anything like that. And I got piss test at work, so I don't. Once in a blue moon. So we wrestled this dude. We wrestled just an awesome freaking match in Dallas, Texas for Sermo, and we drive all the way back, and the next day, because we're wrestling in Memphis, Tennessee, and we were wrestling at this show, and we're wrestling Florida Georgia line, Mason-Dixon line. Sorry, guys, if you see this. I used to always call y'all guys Mason-Dixon line or Florida Georgia line. We were wrestling those two guys. We were wrestling the Hot Steppers, which is Danny B. Good and DJ Brown, father and son tag team. Danny B. is a Memphis legend. So I was already a little bit nervous. So we're in the locker room and we're calling this match. And I'm thinking, oh man, we just called a bomb ass match. But I know that, when you call a match, you think of something else, or you think of something that would fit better, storyline wise, or, so on and so forth. You create the basic skeleton of the match, and then you build onto that until you have just a barn burner, so to speak. And dude, wrestling Mason-Dixon line, Mason-Dixon line, Beer 30 and the Hot Steppers, it was bound to be amazing in my eyes. I was excited. So BCW, yep, no names on who was in the circle. None. So Jack's like, hey bro, you want to go out and smoke? Yeah, man. Yeah, I can have a cigarette. So we went outside, and we got folded into a circle.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. And so I was just like, yeah, man, hook it up. It went around 2 or 3 times. One guy coughed so much, I thought he was going to die. I was like, hey, bro, what's wrong? He's like, you keep smoking that and you'll find out. So, so I did actually find out. We went back inside, and Jack is on his game. Like, he is focused, he is tuned in, he's ready to go. Me, I was gone. So I'm listening to Danny B, right? And normally on a show like the way it goes, the veteran of the match calls the majority of the match because they're the more experienced guys. And so Danny B's calling these spots in this match, and it's not lining up with anything that I remember from before I got where I was at. And I'm stopping Danny. I'm like, Danny, wait a second. Danny, hold up. Where was that part of the match? And Jack's like, bro, pay attention. We just called this spot. And I'm like, oh, okay, got it. Thumbs up, big smile. So then, Silas Mason and Devin Dixon, they come up and they start adding stuff to the match. And so I'm stuck on home plate, right? And these guys are already making their way around third. And so in my head, I'm just like, look, I'll go out there. I'll do what I always do. I'll just be where I need to be. And Jack's the director, he'll tell me where I need to go. So we go out, and there's, yeah, that's it right there. Stuck on before we went outside. That's what I'm saying. So the match happens, and I had one really cool good spot. This dude was supposed to distract me, and then this other guy was supposed to slide in the ring, and I was supposed to chase him out, and he was supposed to go around. Well, they called it I look over at Jack, and I'm lost. So I got Devin Dixon in this corner, and I'm just hitting him. Boom, I hit him, he stumbles back. I hit him again, he stumbles back. I look over at Jack, and I'm like, bro, what's next? And he says, his exact words, he basically called the spot. In my head, I thought it was a funny little rhyme. I thought he was just being silly. It was a name that rhymes with bro, followed by bro. So it was right bro. Yeah, Mo, bro, Mo. He said, Mo, bro, Mo. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, he wants to see some Mo. That was definitely not it. So I'm still caught in my head, I'm still caught in the, that's a silly rhyme. Oh, man, I love Jack. So I get him in the corner, and I'm hitting Devin Dixon, and I'm popping him, and he's selling. And the guy is on the outside of the ring waiting to come in, and I still haven't, it still hasn't clicked in my head what part of the match I'm in. So I look back at Jack, and I said, what? And he said, Mo, bro, Mo. And I said, oh, okay. What? And then I walked all the way over. I walked from the corner they were in all the way back over to my corner where Jack was in. And I said, bro, what is the spot? And he said, just tag me in and get out of the ring. So I tagged Jack in. I get back in the ring, and like Danny B, he's really a class act. I do a couple of things with him. Fast forward a little bit, the match is over. We get back to the back, and man, I'm the guy that screwed the pooch. I'm the guy that crapped the stinking bed. And I'm just like, guys, I'm sorry. I'm real sorry. And everybody's like, oh man, we made it work. Don't worry about it. And in my head, I'm like, man, no, that was horrible. That was freaking horrible.
I get it.
So I'm driving home from Memphis because, we switched out in
Literally what Jack just brought up.
Yeah. So I'm driving home because Jack drove from Texarkana. So Jack,
Hi, Crystal.
Jack gets in the, yeah, for sure. So Jack gets in the passenger seat and I get in the driver's seat and my head is hanging lower than it's ever been. I start the car up and before I can even put it in reverse to pull out of the parking lot, Jack just says 2 words. Never again, Bruce. Never again.
Literally what he put in the comment.
Yeah. And I'm like, bro, you're absolutely right. I had no business doing that. And it'll never happen again.
Oh Jesus.
So
yeah.
So the ride home was it was a tense one to say the least. But yeah, from that point on, I never once even thought about it. Anytime anybody would ask, I would just be like, "Hey man, I can't right now. I'll hit you up after the match." So it was definitely a learning experience.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
And you're right, Crystal. I tell long-winded stories. I have ADHD, and I want y'all guys to kind of be in my headspace as I'm telling these stories, so you kind of.
That is a dangerous place to be.
It really is. Oh my gosh, dude! I was stone sober in that kilo match, but he wasn't.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, at the same promotion.
Oh, good Lord. That's interesting. Kilo match. What's the deal with that one?
Man, okay, so
we're just telling fun stories here, buddy. I'm good with it.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Jack. We get to this show, and of course, it's Beer 30 versus they wanted us on the card, so it was 2 random guys. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty funny. But so we're wrestling these guys, and we kind of both recognized their abilities or their wrestling, their wrestling prowess. So we kind of knew, okay, Outsider and Kilo. I'm sorry, guys, but we knew kind of where they were at. So we called a simple match. Wasn't nothing too crazy, wasn't nothing too spectacular. We were going to go out there. We were going to get some shine. They were going to get just a little bit of heat. We were going to cut them off. Double stunner, 1, 2, 3. Give the crowd what they want, and then come back to the back. Now this show, they had beers in the back because it was at a bar. So. Man, we get out there and we were in the shine, and this was probably 2 minutes into the shine. We go to whip this guy off the ropes, and I guess he tripped over his feet, but he landed almost face first into the second rope on the opposite side of the ring. And I don't know, I don't really see it as me having an ego, but I mean, I think I was the most mad that I've ever been, but for good reason. You know what I'm saying? It was 2 or 3 minutes into the match and he already screwed it up. So I just remember Jack looking over at Outsider and saying, oh, yeah, I fell down in the middle of the ring. My bad. I had been drinking or partaking, so it's been a while. But dude tripped all over his feet. Like it was almost like he tripped over a rug in the middle of the ring, but it was an invisible rug. Yeah, then got up and continued running. Just like and me and Jack are just kind of looking like, bro, are you kidding me right now? Like, is this really happening? Are we being punked? Like, we thought it was a joke. Like, everybody in the locker room was playing a joke on us. And, like, I remember Jack looking over at Kilo, or not at Kilo, but at Outsider. He, tagged the Outsider in. And I remember Jack just telling Kilo, or Outsider, your tag partner just got your ass whipped. And we beat the piss out of Outsider. Picked him up, double stunner, 1, 2, 3. Didn't even celebrate. We just rolled out of the ring and walked to the back, like we were just so mad. We get back to the back, and like Kilo's sitting down, and you know how like when you're like chewing a kid's ass, you like get down to his level, like right in his face or her face, so they know they messed up.
Right.
I just and this is the first time I can remember ever doing this ever. I bent down and I got into Kilo's face, and I'm probably less than a foot away from him.
Jack, I was
And
going to bring that up in a minute. We'll talk about that in a minute.
so
Go ahead,
I'm
go ahead.
about a foot away from his face, and like I screamed so loud, "What the F was that, bro?" Kilo looked up at me like almost in tears, and he was like, "I just drank too much." And I said, "Are you effing kidding me?" I said, "Are you effing kidding me? Like, I don't just call myself one half a beer 30. I literally drink all of the time. Like, I am a high functioning alcoholic. You had what I saw, 6 beers, and you're telling me you were so drunk, you tripped and thought it would be a good idea to stand up and continue running when you had zero momentum?" It was so bad. I remember Derek putting his arm on me and asking me to calm down. Derek King.
Oh, wow.
Because I was like screaming almost at the top of my lungs, and the locker room had like an open top, and like fans could have probably heard what was going on. I was just so angry. Jack said, "Hey, Bruce, let's go smoke." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's effing go smoke." And I just went outside, and I just remember, I don't even remember smoking that first cigarette. It was like one of those angry smokes where like in 3 puffs, a 100 was gone. And I was almost chain smoking. I was so mad, just pacing. Jack's like, "Bro, calm down." And I'm like, "Bro, you're the one that always gets mad. Why am I so angry?"
I was going to bring I forgot where it was, but I knew it was the show with the 6-sided ring. I know that match was interesting.
So we highball this guy, the promoter. I won't say his name. If y'all guys want to say his name, you can.
No point.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put this guy over. We highball this guy, and the guy's like, "Yeah, come in. I want beer 30." So we drive to Nashville, Arkansas. I didn't even know there was a such thing as a Nashville, Arkansas. I just remember Jack saying, "Hey, we're booked in Nashville, Arkansas." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So get to Nashville, Arkansas. The ring is like this rinkety, like 6-sided ring. It looks like it had been dropped in an industrial strength blender and crapped out the other end, and they just kind of with duct tape and Terry Gordy Memorial Show, they duct taped it together, and boom, there's a wrestling ring. It belonged to this yard guy from Oklahoma. Went by Chaos or something like that. Carnage with a K. Carnage with a K. Interesting fun fact, he was on Backyard Wrestling, the video game. No, he was not.
Moving on.
So we go out. The guys that we were wrestling, like sorry, it's a long-winded story. So before we went out to wrestle, this guy, he comes up to Jack and he said, "Hey man, I got to ask 2 things." He said, "1, don't knock my teeth out, because and then he pulled out his teeth to show us that he had false teeth. And then the second request was, please don't hurt him. He said, please don't knock out my teeth, pulls his teeth out, puts them back in, and says, also, please don't hurt me.
I just put that up there
so
Jack can see it.
Jack said, well, I can promise you one of those two things. I won't do one of those two things. And the guy I guess he just had some weird smile and walked off. So we go do the match. It was so bad that the guy that was like, please don't hurt me, had to get in the ring to take the finish because his tag partner didn't want to get in the ring with me and Jack. And so, okay.
I know both of these guys.
Match is over. Show is over. We're in the back. The dude's going around paying everybody. He pays Miranda Gordy. He pays Niles Plonk. He pays Jason Jordan. He's passing out envelopes, and I open my envelope, and it's about $30 short, $35, $40 short. I look at Jack. Jack looks at me. I shake my head no. Jack shakes his head no. Martin Boyd was on that show with us, and Martin says, Bruce, it ain't worth it.
Love you too,
and I said, the heck it ain't worth it, bro. We shot him a price. We shot him a guarantee, and he said he agreed to pay it. Martin said, man, it ain't worth it. And I'm looking around the room. I'm like, hey, what did you get paid? I'm like, did you get your full PO? You don't have to tell me what you got paid. I'm asking everybody. Did you get your pay? Did you get your pay? Yes, yes, yes. No, no. Okay. So a lot of us guys, we didn't get paid. We got stiffed on pay. So back then, I liked to carry a gun on my hip everywhere I went. And I was loud and proud with it. I wore it right there on the outside of my hip so everybody could see it. And so the guy's like, hey guys, I'm real sorry. The concession stand lady, she took off with the money box. And Jack looks over at the concession stand and he's like, you mean that lady right there? That's your wife that was running concession stand? And he said, no, that was a different lady that was running it. And Jack's just like, okay, man. So the more this guy's talking, like my hands are I got kind of fisted. My hands are kind of fist. I'm ready to hit somebody. And the more this guy talks, like, my right hand kind of loosens up, and I reach up and I put my hand on my gun. And I don't know if this guy saw it or not, but Mike Anthony did. And Mike Anthony looks at me from across the locker room and he said, Bruce, if there is anything that I have ever told you in the entire time that we've known each other that you've listened to, please listen to me now. He said, it ain't worth $35, bro. You knew this was going to happen when you first agreed to wrestle here. And I told him, I said, you're right, Mike. And then me and Jack, we couldn't steal the sound system because it was a F-150 that they pulled into the building.
At least you had sound system when you were.
Oh, yeah. Couldn't steal the ring because it was a 6-sided piece of crap that was held together with duct tape and a prayer. I mean, the guy did come around with some fire ass barbecue. So Jack's like, look, I'm taking this barbecue, and this is mine now. And he's like, I'll fight you. But the really good thing that happened that night is we ran into a ref not too far from there. I think it's Tony.
Flanagan?
Yeah, I think it was Tony,
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
No,
maybe it wasn't. I can't remember, dude. I got crap for memory. It was a guy that was working. He worked for TCW. He was working for that a bigger promotion on the west side of Arkansas. That'd be nice. Jerry Lynn. Yep, referee Jerry Lynn. We ran into him and kind of told him, sorry, Tony. Kind of ran into him at a gas station just out of the blue. Lynn. Yeah. And he knew us as Beer 30, and he was like, oh man, we kind of told him the situation, what happened, and he was like, well, I'm glad you didn't shoot the guy. And I'm like, well, I kind of am too. Hey, I'd like
What's
that.
up, Chandler?
So like he's like, hey man, I'll put a good word in up here. If y'all guys want to wrestle just up there, just let me know. And then, fast forward, a little bit, like our booking schedule just never kind of matched up to where we could get over there. So yeah, that's the Nashville, Arkansas story. I did like
I've heard the more
the more
un-PG
colorful,
version
yeah.
of that one.
So look, I always used to think that Mike Anthony hated me. And for the longest time, I don't know why. It was just that I guess I thought that I felt like I was a yarder, that I was beneath him, and he was just this miraculous wrestler, still is, but like and was back then. But like in my eyes, he was just dude. Nick O'Mac did not want to stay out of the ring. But Hollywood Nick O'Mac. But anyways, apple slice, freshly squeezed apple slice. Freshly peeled apple slice. But yeah, so
let's not go into that. That could be a whole podcast.
That would be an entire 2-hour podcast in itself. But anyways, so we had Mike Anthony in this chat group with us, all of us that were wrestling in Nashville, and yeah, for sure. They just would not get out of the ring. Dude, all of us vets in the match and all like the names that were in there, like we were all just like, hey, you might be a heel and we might be face, but let's work together to get these jabronis out of the ring and keep them out of the ring. I swear to God, I kicked Nick O'Mac like 6 times in the face, different times. Because like he'd get eliminated and then he kept trying to come back in. Like, bro, your time's up. Go back to the back. But
don't get it.
No, but I messaged Mike Anthony in the group chat we were in because Jack drove home, or Jack was driving home, or I was driving home. I can't remember. Don't text and drive, kiddies. But I one of us texted in the group, and I texted Mike, and I'm like, bro, I always thought you hated me, and did we just become best friends? Did you just keep me from killing a dude? And he was like, yeah, I think we did. Like, he's like, Bruce, you've really grown in the time that I've known you. He's like, I really I've never, I don't have a bad attitude. I'm actually a good guy. He's like, I'm just about business when I get to the show. And I'm like, oh, well, my bad for thinking you hated me.
Oh, Lord.
While driving, yes. Or watch documentaries while driving, yes.
Josh Cross, are you watching this? Josh, are you watching?
Yeah, no texting, Josh.
Talk about the watching TV. That's what we're gonna have, like WWE pay-per-view stuff going on his phone while
dude. I was
he's only taking up his space in the car, but it's like between 2 lanes.
Dude, let me tell you what, like, it's like Crystal would sleep the whole ride, but as soon as Jack would fall asleep, like I would crank on a documentary, and he'd wake up like, bro, what the F are you doing?
I'd be listening.
I'd be driving with my knee, like watching the show. I'm dangerous, guys.
Have you seen Most Treasure?
What?
Have you seen WWE Most Treasure?
No, not yet. No, I really want to, but I need
good.
I need to get on there and watch it.
Last Sunday, it was Macho Man.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Because we almost died every trip. Yeah. hey, man, road times. I love them.
I remember when me and a buddy of mine, well, he's like a brother, Roland, we got stopped in Michigan. That was a story that I'll never forget.
Yeah, Roland was driving because Fred don't drive.
Yeah.
They got pulled over. Fred got searched. Not Roland. Yeah, but we're not going to, we're going to leave it up to insinuation on the
that's
reason
unfortunate,
why
man. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. But we're going to have to cut this off here in a minute. Before we do, myself and Bruce are actually about to embark on a little escapade here. Coming up soon. We're going to work it out details first, though. But it'd be like a monthly or twice a month thing. We're going to be doing this right here: cryptids and creepy stuff. We're gonna.
I see
We're
how
basically.
y'all dummies don't invite me.
You could be there. I mean, you
know
probably
what
got
we're talking about.
you probably got scary stuff that you would like to get off your chest. Like you probably got
Yeah,
some.
you know, the fact that he has 11 brothers and sisters, that's terrifying. But no, what we're gonna do, it'll be a different night, you know. But we're gonna talk about, you know, like, you know, cryptids, ghost stuff, you know, anything that, you know, we find interesting that is not what you would term normal. So we're just gonna shut up, Jamie. But we're gonna have fun with it. I know we talked about the first episode. We're gonna since Bruce lives up close to that area, we're gonna talk about the White River Monster, which is based out of Newport. The Falcon Monster will be soon.
Yep. The Falcon Monster's coming up soon. I say coming up soon, but it's definitely in the works.
We're not in two different rooms, Jack. Fred's right
they're right. They're right beside each other.
I just got a different camera, so he's not all cuddled up on me. So you know,
he's the one that. I'm not gonna say it on here.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about, you know, well, like Tony just put up there, Chupacabra. Yeah, but I want to get into more of the not the less famous ones. You know, like, you know, down in South Louisiana, there's the Honey Island monster, which is basically a Bigfoot style type thing, you know. So we're gonna get into a lot of stuff like that. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Love you, Jackie.
But yeah, we're that's something we've got planned coming up. Like I said, we want to plan it out, make sure we get it right first. But it'll be a similar thing, you know, on, you know, my multiple YouTube and Facebook stuff. Because I mean, we're streaming to like 6 different destinations right now.
Oh, sweet! My family could see this.
Your family could see this, you dumbass. You know this, right?
Hey, only 2. I'm just only 2 of them got Facebook, so yeah.
It's YouTube on here too. I even got a damn Twitch channel. Oh. I don't think barely anybody ever watches on that, but
some of them have flip phones, so it wouldn't work.
What the hell?
I still have one, so you know. I'm gonna be rich one day.
Bruce, you see, this is what I deal with on a daily basis. This is normal. You don't point at me.
Look, I think I could be wrong, but I think living with Fred would almost be like
torture,
like Animal House, frat party, like I think it would be like amazing, like all day long, every day.
Oh, awesome.
You don't have to do it, so I don't think you would.
Well, look, on the as a person who is on the outside looking in, it looks like it could be just a blast.
We'll make that happen for a week.
I'm down. My streaming subscriptions are all up to date, so we have an unlimited supply of wrestling to watch. I've got so many toys we could play with. I don't have a wrestling ring, but we could go wrestle in the backyard. I got a swimming pool.
Okay.
He's already like, well, at least there I wouldn't have to feed all of the damn animals.
My boss is really super cool. I might be able to work out like a bring your Fred to work day.
Oh man.
Oh my.
Okay, I'd be down.
So now the next time I threaten to kick Fred out, he's like, well, I'll just go to Bruce's. Shit. So now, thanks a lot, man. You just took away my only power I have here. Aaron said he wants to be adopted by Bruce now.
Hey, I've been told I'm a cool dad.
So if you're the dad, does that make me the grandpa?
No, dude, you're only. I'll be 40 in June. I'll be 40 in June. You're not that much older than I am.
I'm 42.
Did you have to take? Are you wearing flip flops? Did you have to count your toes?
No, I had to think about what year I was born. My math sucks.
Dude, I swear to God, I barely scraped by college algebra. I tell people all the time I did not go to math school. So if you want some math figuring, It ain't gonna come from me.
I use math on a daily basis, but luckily there's this beautiful thing called a calculator.
Yes, yes.
That
I
helps me tremendously.
I work at a Chevrolet dealership. I sell parts daily, so that calculator comes in handy.
Hey, I need a throttle body sensor.
Send me your VIN number. I'll hook you up.
I think that's what it is. Last time we checked the code, like when it gets hot,
Yep.
and I'm trying to like go up hills and stuff like that, it'll bog down.
Bog down. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'll get a check engine light, and it'll say stable track disabled, traction control disabled. I can't use my cruise control.
Yeah, because your throttle body it has a lot to do with electrical. It has a lot to do with your analog brake system. So yeah, it'll do that. Yeah, hey, for real, send me your VIN and I'll
see. Yeah, I've got a Chevy Impala.
Okay.
Gerald said that, but here's the thing though: is it did it to me on Saturday. And on the way up there, but as long as I'm on the interstate, it's all right. Or if I have to, I can pull over and disconnect my battery, reconnect it, it resets it, it drives fine. But it did it, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna leave the check engine light on and everything because Monday I'm taking it up to the shop, that I'm buying it from, and they can at least tell me what's wrong with it. Monday I get in the car, turn it on, and the check engine light ain't on no more.
Oh wow! So
yeah.
And
yeah, the air does make the clicking noise. That's your actuator, the thing that changes it from like defrost to vent to floor. Yeah, that does it on a lot of them. I guess Double J's is doing next. He's got almost identical car to mine, so I'm gonna go steal his car.
Don't leave your car unattended.
Or he did have one. I don't know if he still does.
Hey, a lot of those wrestlers, I don't go in their car, but a lot of wrestlers, their cars are unlocked. I'm just saying that.
So Fred just admitted he
I
checks
don't go
your
in their
door.
car. I don't go in their car.
He just admitted that he checks their cars to see if the doors are locked.
No, I watch them before they go in the building. They leave it unlocked.
So you're stalking people?
I'm not. No, man. Go ahead.
Bruce ain't even listening.
I'm sorry. No, somebody shared some shorts on a group page or a Facebook group that I'm in, and I was just looking at the shorts. Well,
nah, I haven't. I can't use my phone when I'm doing this.
Oh, okay.
My internet is garbage. But yeah, well, it's getting on the 2-hour mark and almost 10 o'clock. And unlike some people, I actually try to sleep at night.
Oh, I do too. I just does never happen.
So we're gonna go ahead and get ready to cut this off. Everybody, I do appreciate y'all for watching. Bruce, thank you for being on here. Awesome. This was very educational.
Absolutely. Hey, I'd love to make this a thing if you guys would have me.
Oh yeah, man. It's crazy how many people like want to do this. I actually had to tell a couple people today that no, we're going to focus on bringing you on and
I appreciate that.
You do it, so but I'm gonna drop you down. Hang tight, don't click off. But I'm gonna drop you down for right now.
Later, everybody.
Fred, shut up. You suck. There goes Fred. All right. Again, thank everybody. I thank everybody for watching. Y'all guys. I mean, this was episode 13. Man, it has been a lot of fun doing this. I want to continue doing it. That's also why me and Bruce are going to start doing the secondary one. Just because this is so much fun doing this. Just to have fun and just BS around and have a good time. And I'm glad y'all enjoy it. So everybody. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good night. See if I can get this thing to cut off. There it goes.